Hello, wonderful people. My name's Frank. Welcome to the channel. Today, let's get to it. Oh, and I'm going to have a box over here that describes why I feel I'm qualified and why I actually do this. Okay, right over here, the little box is going to be doing the talking. Today, we are going to get right into it, starting with the most important and most fundamental steps in healing after narcissistic abuse. And that step absolutely determines how fast and how fully you actually heal. I know because it did for me. All the stuff I went through. And that's stabilizing your nervous system. Now, back in the day, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew how I felt and how I got calm. But there's a whole thing for it, and there's thousands of videos for it, and this is one of them. So I'm only going to teach what worked for me. Okay, so let's get to it. Stabilizing your nervous system is important because if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, whether it's at work, at home, somebody in your family, whatever it is, you're for a long duration, not just a little bit. Your nervous system gets pushed into survival mode for so long that that becomes the new normal, and instability becomes familiar, peace becomes unfamiliar. It becomes like a feeling that you don't know how to feel anymore. And we're going to get to a point where we relearn how to feel peaceful, how to feel whole, what that actually feels like again. So, why this matters is because when you get out of a narcissistic relationship, and that's kind of where we are at this point in the channel, you try and jump right back into and try and straighten everything out about what happened with the narcissist. You start replaying old conversations and old situations and trying to correct them in your head and trying to find what the flaws were there and how you could have handled it better, um, and all that nonsense. And you're just trying to force yourself to move on because you desperately want to move on. But you can't move on if your body and yourself constantly feels like you have anxiety or you're in danger. And why this is important is because your nervous system controls everything. Your stress levels, your sleep patterns, your emotional reactions, your energy, your ability to think clearly, and even your overall sense of safety. And it's in your body. And I know that some people are like, oh, well, that sounds a little woo woo. It doesn't sound woo woo at all. If you have a toothache, how does that affect your behavior? How does that affect your mind? How can you do things? How can you heal your narcissistic abuse with two toothaches? We'll give you two that both need root canal or something. You know you won't be able to do it. You won't be able to think straight, much like act straight, or be in the state of mind where you can have things work out well. That's where we're at. That's why it's important. And so when you come out of a narcissistic relationship, you're still in that fight, freeze, or fawn. Yeah, there's another one. Response, mostly fight and avoidance. Probably you probably have a few of them. Okay, but mostly fight, right? So, and that's where your nervous system is set to. It's like a thermostat. It's just set to fight because you never knew when you'd have to. So your nervous system cranked it up to full, ready to fight at any moment because you never knew. And that's where it is now. And that's maybe why, even though years can have passed after you've been out of a narcissistic relationship, years, you could still feel exhausted because you're still at a heightened sense of fighting or alertness. That's why, and that's where we come to something called hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is another thing where you're always, in your mind, you're always like this, right? Even though you might be relaxed, but you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. You're waiting for the next thing to happen, the next bad thing to happen. And when you lived with a narcissist, that was a thing. It was, you didn't know when it was going to happen. or you're easily triggered. And you could just be going about your business and at a job or whatever, and everything's great. And then they say something or do something. Actually, it's probably acting somewhat like a narcissist, where they demand something or they're whatever, something like a narcissist. Don't want to pin it down because different people have different triggers. But you'll be easily triggered and you'll be like, why? Why did they do that? Why did they um, uh, why am I talking about this or thinking about this or obsessing about this so much? That's it. You came from a narcissistic relationship. It's not your fault. It's just the way things are. Or some people just numb. They're just numb to everything. Nothing excites them. Nothing feels bad. It's just like whatever. Um, or unable to make even simple decisions. That's also common coming out of a narcissistic relationship. And there's nothing wrong with you. Your body is still trying to survive. That's great. It got you through it. It got you to here. But that's why step number one has to be stabilization. We have to be able to stand down in order to stand up for the rest of our life. What stabilization actually looks like, it's not about being perfect. It's not about perfection. It's about sending yourself and telling yourself consistent signals of safety. Like right now, we're safe. I'm safe right here. The most dangerous thing I have in my vicinity right now is my cat. The cat has a full stomach, so that's okay. Right? We're safe. That is the start. Okay, so here are the core pillars that we're going to pull away from this so that you walk away with this video with something concrete and something great. Slow breathing. Rapid breathing, right? You're doing something like walking or exercising or running from a lion or whatever it was, right? Your body is like that. It's kind of always thinking that we're cave people, right? You're running from a lion. But if you do the slow breathing method that I'm going to talk about next, it really will calm you down. And it's a good method to use just before you do something you think is going to be taxing, like your taxes or whatever. You go, and it's a slow inhale for about 4 seconds, whatever is good for you, and a slow exhale for a little bit longer than that. So say 6 seconds. And it'll look like this. It's also something good to do just before they take your blood pressure. It's going to lower it all down. It's going to calm you down. It's also something good to do just before you want to go to sleep. You're going to want to calm that all down. And it's not necessarily deep breathing, it's slow breathing, right? Because if you're breathing slow, it tells your body everything's okay. And you might be stuck in a higher stress breathing pattern that it kind of indicates to your body that maybe things aren't. Maybe you should be a little on edge, right? But before you go into this, and I do that before I go into work and anything that might be potentially pulling me out of my center, right? You get centered, you feel great about yourself. You just want to nail that in. You want to bring that down. That's what you do. You do the slow breathing method. It tells your body you are safe right now. Okay, so simple grounding is the next thing we want to get to. Put your hand on your chest or your stomach. I like the chest situation, but if you put it on your stomach, you'll be able to feel your breath going up and down. Notice what you're breathing, what you see, what you hear, and what you feel. Just do that. Just notice that. That's it. It's kind of like an open eye meditation. You don't have to make judgments about it. Okay? I see this. I see that. I don't really smell anything. I hear the refrigerator running a little bit, which is good. That's it. That's it. That also tells your mind it's boring right now, right? Nothing going on. Completely safe. And your system will get to a point where it searches for that. Even subconsciously, it's going to start to search for that. Instead of searching for the narcissist in the next, you know, argument to start or whatever craziness they come up with next. Because that's what our nervous system has been regulated to. So now we're going to re-regulate it. That's all it is. It's just re-regulating it to something else. The nervous system works fine. You work fine. We're just going to shift it from one thing to another thing that works much, much better, especially if it's a stage in life where hopefully you've gotten over the narcissist. My narcissist is definitely over. Why? Because my narcissist is dead, right? Natural causes, don't worry, right? But I'm definitely trying still to move on. 5 years later, after the narcissist died, right? I can say right now I'm in a place of thriving. Okay. But these are the things that have got me there. It wasn't luck. It wasn't just because the narcissist wasn't in my life anymore. It's because I had to work on these things to get there. And at this phase in your life, you don't need to make any massive decisions, major life decisions right now. You don't necessarily need closure, right? It's done. It's over. It's closed. In my case, physically fully closed. Mine doesn't feel like that, but that's why I'm telling it it's closed. It's done. It's over. And you don't need to fix everything from the past. Hey, it already happened, right? Now you're going to fix the future, and that's going to be good. That's where the good stuff is. That's where your future is. You're going to live in the future. You're not going to live in the past all the time. The only job right now is to come back to yourself. And you think, oh, well, that's easy. Come on now. I'm me, right? But you don't, at least I didn't, and a lot of people that come out of narcissistic abuse don't really know who they are and how they feel in their own skin, how they feel in their own body and in their own life. You think you do, but then when you start thriving back into yourself, you're like, oh, that's what it feels like to be safe. Oh, I remember this. This is what it meant to feel like to be proud of where I was in my life and what I was doing. I remember that. I used to be like that, right? You're going to have a lot of those moments, right? And that's great. That's where we're going to. And sleep and eating basics, okay? This was a thing for me. Even it's still a thing, kind of. Getting enough sleep. Find out what your enough sleep is when you get up and you feel great just because you had that amount of sleep. It's going to be somewhere between 6 and 8 hours. It's probably not going to be 6 and it's probably not going to be 8, right? As my cat. Cat needed to be regulated as well. I think I said that in the last video. Hey, anybody around a narcissist, any living thing around a narcissist is going to be negatively affected. So, yes, sleeping and getting enough sleep and eating basics. It's not about, this is not a diet, okay? This is about protecting your body and your mind and your brain. And they can't do well without the proper rest and nutrition. People who work out all the time, bodybuilders, they know about rest. They know how critical it is for their body to do well. They talk about getting gains, muscle gains, size gains, and they can't get that unless they rest properly. That's a known fact. And for us non-bodybuilders, it's still true because the body still needs rest. It just runs different systems when you're sleeping. And if you're not sleeping enough, it doesn't run those systems enough to clear out all the all the stuff it doesn't like. In your liver and your kidney and all the other organs and all the other places in your body, it just cleans up. It's kind of like the cleaning crew at night. We're not even talking about how your brain reorganizes information at night. It needs to do that too. But that's even extra. So definitely sleep. And the nutrition is right? We all know if we eat junk food, it kind of feels, it honestly, some of the junk food feels great in the moment, but you don't feel good about it later. And then you don't feel good about how you look later, usually. I've been there, man. After the narcissist passed away from me, I went on a pretty big junk food binge. I didn't really realize why. I mean, aside from the fact that I had more money than I had before, I could afford to eat junk food now. And so I did, I guess. But I didn't realize that I was kind of, it was a trauma response. Right, you couldn't do this before, and now I'm doing this, right? Kind of. And it made me feel bad. It made me feel sluggish. So we're not here to do big routines and not big overhauls right now. This place in our life, or this place in recovery, is just about the simple basics. Try and get a little more sleep. Go to sleep when you feel tired, as soon as you can feel tired, and eat a little bit better, whatever that is. Yeah. So this is something I got from a video or someplace else. I forget where it was. But it was basically take a slow breath in through your nose, a slower breath out through your mouth, whatever that is, and have your hand on your heart or your stomach, whichever feels best, and then tell yourself and realize the truth of this statement: I am safe right now. The place I started that, I think I started it in my car, like before work. Well, the thing is that I had too much caffeine, and that makes you want to do a whole lot of stuff. And I didn't do anything after I had too much caffeine. I got in the car and sat there for half an hour as I drove to work. So by the time I got to work, I was having anxiety because of all the caffeine. I was having a little anxiety from the traffic. And I was having some anxiety from having lived with a narcissist for all those years. So there I was. And I had to calm it all down. And I don't know where this came from, but it worked very well. So you breathe in slow. This is what it looks like. Let's go over it. I'm safe right now. I feel that. I can feel that. I'm totally safe right now. I mean, aside from an asteroid coming, which is never gonna happen. I'm totally safe right now. And I feel that. It doesn't feel extraordinary. Kind of feels a little boring. Good. 2 thumbs up. Right? That's the way it's supposed to feel. And when I first got into it, again, I almost felt anxious having I almost felt anxious in this moment, like I was supposed to do or say or be something else when I was just trying to feel safe in this moment. Oh, I got a little bit of a app coming up telling me to do something. We're not doing that right now. We're doing this right now. And I do this about 3 to 5 times a day. Hey, if it's a rough day, sometimes even more. I like it about 5 times a day because my system looks for this now, and it's almost like a pill almost. It's that effective. And getting back in touch with your safety, what safety feels like to you, it's going to help so much. It helped me so much. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have this plan. I didn't have a video. Probably should have. There's a lot of this stuff on YouTube. Look it up. It's all out there. Yeah. So try it, and it really works. Let's go on to the next thing. So over time, eventually your system will stop expecting danger and will start expecting peace. I didn't know I wasn't there. I thought that was, yeah. And when I checked in with myself, my system was expecting danger. It was expecting the next shoe to fall, the next thing to go wrong. And well, I was in with the narcissist, and I had some trauma after the narcissist because I was with the narcissist, and the narcissist was dying, and then the narcissist died. I had to deal with all that. That was my mom, right? And then because it was her house and it was a reverse mortgage, the reverse mortgage was coming in to take away the house too. So that was traumatic too. I'm glad I'm done with that house anyway. So you definitely don't want all those memories, but it was traumatic at the time. And I'm not lessening any of the trauma I had at that time. For me, at that time, it was traumatic. But you know, it's like some things when you look back at being a child and you look back at it and some bully was bullying you or something like that. And now you look back and you're like, oh God, that was so not a big deal. But at the time, it was a very big deal. It was traumatic. And I'm totally doing that. I'm totally honoring that. And that you can still hold the trauma even though now it would not be traumatic at all. So, well, anyway, so yes, your system will start to look for peace now and expect it and then kind of hold it always for you. It will come to a point where you feel peaceful. Yeah. Yeah, you just feel it. You don't have to reach for it anymore. But even though I have a lot of that now, I still do it because it's pleasurable. It's like sitting at a beach. Why wouldn't you want to do that if you had the opportunity, right? You go down there and sit at the beach. Yeah, it's just a pleasurable thing to do to the point where your body will want to do it more and more. So a final reminder, you don't, this whole journey we're on right now, regulating and stabilizing our nervous system, doesn't mean we're broken. And it doesn't mean you're weak, right? Quite the opposite, because you came through this and you're looking for healing strategies and you're looking to grow. Not everybody that comes through a narcissistic relationship does that. Sometimes it drives them crazy. Sometimes it drives them to crime. Sometimes it actually makes, you can make narcissists by people hanging around narcissists. They start to copy them and get angry and get resentful and then start to feel like the whole world is against them. And then it gets in there and stays in there. They're a narcissist now. Yeah, it's like that. But you're here. So you and your nervous system are doing great. Now, you don't need to figure everything out today. I certainly didn't at the beginning of my journey. I didn't have anything figured out. Talk about being lost in the sauce. But I was doing some of these practices and they definitely helped. And then as I did some of these other practices, I did some other practices. And then I started looking stuff up online. Look stuff up on YouTube or AI, and they have a lot of stuff like this, helpful stuff that can actually improve your day. And then you start improving your week, and then your month, and your year, and your whole life. That's where we're at now. It's a very good place. So if this helped you out today, wonderful people, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think. I love hearing your stories, your breakthroughs, your struggles. And I'll use that as material for the next video or the next videos. I will complete topics and talk about some other stuff, whatever you guys are into, because there's a lot to go into. I'm drawing from my experience and usually what helps out the usual people that come away from narcissistic relationships. And we're just coming back to ourselves, so it's a completely safe journey, right? Now, if you haven't seen the rest of my videos, I have a lot of videos complaining about narcissists and I don't know, whatever they do, whatever they are, and how everything around them and about them goes on. And yes, you can see those videos right here. Thank you for watching, and let's get on to the next video.